Hello, welcome to this moment. I hope you're all having a wonderful Sunday on this 19th day of April of 2026. You must know the time when you're recording. 'Cause any information that's being passed in the future can be in the transcript for the very date. Unless you like to have something that's timeless. When you are talking about inventions and ideas that are yours and only yours, it is good to say the date. Sundays are for spiritual here in Western. Every day should be spiritual. So just imagine we're not being critical or low minded. It's healthy to have discernment and to clear the mind. The day of the week is compassion for that which is mercy, mercy for that which is the construct, the cover. How does compassion and mercy reflect when you want to be the leader because you think you're going to do it better? I've always believed that if you support the person that is in charge or the authority, it will always bring a better outcome than if everyone is fighting to get the position of an authority figure. So you have the chance to be fighting for 2 years, 1 year, and what, 9 months, 8 months, 8 months. So you take over the position of a president or prime minister or someone at work simply to prove you're better. I have to talk about not having mercy in the same way I talk about mercy. What is the power of healing and transforming? This is an interaction we're moving through that's going to take more and more exercise in our doings. We're doing how we handle each other. Yeah, the words. What is this? Because of course there are monsters that are gonna come from the power that has been suppressed. Don't expect anything beautiful, right? When you point in the finger of a wound that is old and ancient throughout all your ancestors and mine as well. So we might be having a fight, especially if you were raised to be a warrior, to confront, to have your rights respected, or just to die quiet. That's the old tradition. You never had a generation throughout history that has brought freedom of expression. People only talk necessities, so they learn to not talk. When you're living in harmony, you don't need to talk so much. Just enjoy. The talk is a poetry, a congregation, just an excuse to be together and enjoy one another from the holy scriptures or the information that you gather through work. 'Cause you love to work together and have the same goals and ambitions. So we have the marketplace thinking in getting more money in irrational forms that won't create money. And then we have humanity, which creates the money. So you can look from many perspectives and angles. How much compassion and common sense you would have for the affliction, the pain, the necessities in the world. What is priority? I would rather have custody of my children instead of having compassion over myself to make sure they are in the right direction and they are being taken care well. And still, I must have compassion over myself. If I don't think I am dead, taking care of them with my spirit, it's not the reality that I want. But it drives me away from so much pain and cruelty that people have done to me and still do by taking from me. You might think you're infinite generosity when you have chosen to make it in this way. And you know from advance all the manipulations that will come from the beliefs of the past, not just against me, it's just the relation they had towards women. So one must bring a portal and marriage towards all that which represents who I am in person. And this is your relation with your mother as well. Women have created so much compassion in order to survive from so much cruelty that you would not know what is it better if to be a ghost, to be alone, or to be tortured by the world men with all their make-up beliefs of domination and supremacy on every nation and culture. Compassion is a broader word of the sense. You will have men that have inspired to war and kill. You have cultures who want to kill because their culture was also killed. So when you have a culture as the Jew that had a genocide, they have blood that is murder in their blood as the Jews. And to kill others is a form of expressing the murder they had as an entity. Those who come with families where they had murder, they know what it is. They know what's to feel the murderer and the murder. It's the same vibration. You just flip the coin. And when you're talking about an entity that has genocide, you must also look at Russia because they have not done healing or observed that, which is mercy within their own. For the Russians, it's different because they have killed their own people, their own, and they're killing their own people in Ukraine as well. With the same vibration. So spiritually, when I'm talking about mercy, we must come down to also think what would be a world where we don't need mercy. What does this world have to do for us to contemplate the meaning of this world? Will we become vulnerable and humble as a victim if we are on a stage where we claim for clemency? Have clemency, have mercy. And we come to a point of reflect what I have done to deserve this. What has my family done to this for me to deserve this? What have my ancestors done or society done for me to deserve this? As we do, there is no comprehension to this. The children that I was raising in the Middle East had to grow up with these wars around them and the consequences that happened to their country with the refugees and how they are world, the Muslim world, pray is has a different tone. It has a blame. It's not a blessing or a glorious prayer. They might be the same words that glory could carry, or compassion and mercy, but they carry a long pain, an expansion. As if they are mourning of this long war. Oh, let's be there to listen to these prayers. Just bring people from around the world that don't know the language and to ask them to describe in their own language, can be translated. What 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 does it sound like? These prayers. What does it sound? They will all tell you the same. What sounds they? You can bring musicians as well. What kind of music would you compose with these sounds? What does it tell you? These prayers. You're asking for Allah, for mercy with this pain, and also for to find a way to fight back with revenge because of this pain. There is a very deep pain that where these children are born from, generation after generation. Only if the sound is different in another place of the world where they're born without this heritage of wanting to fight back, to take over something that they've been fighting before Allah and Muhammad came in history from the times of the wars of Troy and before, 500 years before Jesus. So in Islam, Rama, in Arabic, Rama is derived from the roots for womb. It refers to tenderness and is central to Allah's name, Raham, the most compassionate. But the word they use is the most merciful. Rahim instead of Raham. Al Rahim, the most merciful. One thing is to imagine Holy Mary with her the light coming from her wrist and providing this mercy and light. Yeah. Another is praying for it, right? So in Judaism, from Hebrew, we have Rachamin and chest. Rachamin denotes maternal like compassion from Rachan womb, and chest refers to co- co- covenantal loving kindness or steadfast loyalty. In Buddhism, we have karuna from the Sanskrit, translated as active compassion. It is the desire to free others from suffering. It is the exemplified it is exemplified by the Bodhidharma of mercy, Guanyin. So it was because of compassion the Buddha came down from the gates of heaven, because there were so many people suffering. How could he enter heaven? In Christianity, from the Greek eleos, used throughout the New Testament, Lord have mercy, to describe divine pity, healing, and salvation regardless of merit. Of course, it is not, I won't have mercy on you because you don't deserve it. Of course, you have to say that with arrogance, right? It's not a true compassion. From Confucianism of Confucius, embodies humanness or humanity, which includes ethical obligations for mercy and kindness to maintain social harmony. From Hinduism, Daya. Well, Daya in Sanskrit also means right and rightful. And left is Baya. Right is Daya, which is also being righteous. Or right, turn right, please. Daya. When you tell the rickshaw or taxi before we had Google Maps. So Daya refers to kindness and compassion towards all living beings. Kindness and compassion from the Sanskrit. That's being right. And Karuna is a fundamental virtue often personified by deities like Shiva, Kara, Karuna Vetaram. So Shiva has many avatars depending on the stage he is. Zeus is a god that transforms and shapeshifts to be able to go through certain storylines. In these mythologies, if you see the beauty of God and the divine of God, you might die because you're not used to understand or remain silent or just receptive, accepting the unknown of so much beauty is so rare. You will think crazy. And in this world, we have the potential to get to these understandings with one another as well. So when I think of Jesus cleaning the feet of his disciples and asking them to treat him as well as he treated him, as he has treated them, I'm not just thinking he has a great act of mercy because first they are his disciples. So it's not like, oh, I'm going to do that to my manager. Or maybe uh, she will think I'm a Spanish servant and that she deserves to take everything from the store and lie to everyone. and threaten people if they don't do as she says, and she will never be satisfied anyways. So there is a problem in the brain that cannot adjust, measure. Doesn't matter how much compassion and devotion. People can become more tyrannic. They would only like to prove have a good benevolent power to do good because they love the power and they need the power. Next week is for the day of every week will be for the word of the week that is power as in a scenario, because this is not about an individual aspect or the power of yourself as a construct of your personality and your culture. We're talking here about thousands, hundreds, thousands, and millions and billions of people, where only a few can command their destiny. So, if you have the power to bring goodness to all those who need to see in their own map, in their own consciousness with one another, with their own goodwill, because we might have free will, but through experiencing, practicing what's free will determination, you will have the free will and the determination from your people as well. But that's an exercise you do with your people, and your people do with you. And that is in a scenario that's built throughout generations and can activate in a stronger source of energy field where people are not afraid of what others judge because they might be condemned or outcast because you've been paid by this industry. You work for this industry. Now the scientists say that God exists in general. You might inspire to talk about Jesus. And what is the heritage of Jesus? What has Jesus have done through all these generations as a ripple of consciousness to bring forgiveness to oneself and to convert and say I have erred. I I am not perfect. I can check within and confess. So calling always for humbleness, calling always for humility. That can also be an act that you have rehearsal on and on as a noble, many to oh because it's a fascist. Oh because it's a snob. Oh, because it's a classist. They don't care about people. Well, there's some people that have been raised to care about people. Today I have four children from Spain, and one or two of them were going to the boarding school here in England, and their parents came from Madrid. I could tell, of course, they were doing the best for their children. Um, the kids were listening to me with very high stem, just because I said a few things. But they know the importance of the higher education. They know what it means to serve your culture. 'Cause they were looking at me and I thought, well, it doesn't really matter what I say to children. I mean, I'm talking with the parents, but I will look at them and check on. Well, they are here in England. And they were honored that I was expressing the I give myself for the Spanities on my free time. It's not something I do for money. And of course, I would love to have money for my children, my mother to take care of. They are being taken care of. What is unconditional true love of your parents, of your mother, to your children, just to be there? These questions are irreplaceable. You don't ask for mercy to your parents unless they're very cruel. They will not understand. You could ask somebody else to free you from something cruel. But when you have no one, you ask God. You claim to God. These are very delicate times where people are capable of pushing wars to copy everything we do. And I might be able to copy the tech globe map for their own, to put people against other people. So they copy it. This is why we cannot do it until they feel oneness in the only real world we have, not just within our imagination, with our allies against others. I would really trust in the British people to bring balance with international law. I really pray for my manager to stop when things are not missing. She won't hide the fact that the things are missing. She won't have to lie about it. She won't have to create chaos and drama that's been premeditated. I have people that have conspired against me to get a free house from welfare and pretend to be vulnerable victims when they have still also. Not only they have been forgiving for taking from me, they also have to lie about who I am. And this also to take my children away from me. So this is an example. Christians should measure very well the level of compassion because it's in the other to pay an observation and transform, giving the free will to see whom they are and what they have become throughout all these centuries. All these centuries, all the character traits they are missing because they're only investing in hating the other, fighting the other, take over other people's land throughout decades, burn scriptures, burn manuscripts, and make believe this land belongs to them. Take over lands, as in Kashmir, send people there through generations. So immigration is a form of taking over people's land. Mhm. There are there are towns in Spain that can be taken over the British because they're only British there. Just love to have sunshine. Not into that anymore. Europe is not into that for a long time. Europe is not taking people's land since 100 years ago. So Hitler. So I guess in the 40s he finished. Wow, it's incredible. So our boundaries, sharing these worlds as neighbors, is very intrusive when we don't have the compassion, but at the same time, the ability to measure until how far it is going to go. For example, the genocides in Iran to their own people as well. This has been genocides as a mental illness that repeats from all the people they already killed before. And it's something you can think about in a reason talk over. Putting energy on these people when they can see the globe map by themselves, think by themselves, when they see the differences. If we have compassion towards the poor people of our nation, instead of investing in wars, we will be much better. If I mind my own garden and just take care of my garden, love myself, my family, my surrounding, I wouldn't have any problems to think about beyond my own reality. You will wish to kill someone that has so much love and beauty because of the envy. You're so resented. You will always think they are happy because of your misery. They are making you miserable. This sets you apart. I rather press a little button and feel a person wants to kill me because at least the monster is free from their own inner Those narratives once free, we are very close to them. Or in an astral portrait, you will see them, but that's liberating. It's coming out. Let it go. I'm not insulting you, but I'm loving you. It's coming out. Let it be seen by yourself as I am present here. You're not gonna hurt me. I've walked the underworlds of many. To free them. But that is something you can do when you've done that to yourself and transform. No, no, giving yourself. You will with your children to simply enjoy life, to play with it as well. We will protect it. If you can protect them right now, because in reality, you get damaged. You might die with mercy. You might redeem yourself, giving your last breath to others. At the same time, you would have wished to have die with abundance. Everything has been provided. And then you die satisfied. Your last breath is all the continuation of your life. So you would take Jesus out of the cross right now if you believe in Jesus' life. You see, it's very manipulative to enter the gates of heaven through sorrow and mortification. Of course, you can enter through any gate. But what if you stay there? What if you are always in heaven welcoming others and have mercy because they're so slow to enter in the here and now? You change the world chip. You will ask Jesus in your prayers how you like to be remembered. I've talked this with my husband many times because I had the luxury to imagine I was talking with Jesus, you know. He's very handsome and charming and truthful. So I will have my conversations with him in the private. I always tell social workers, you know, it's an act. So I am curious, of course. It's not that I take him seriously, but in that moment, it's true. As a writer, and composer, and thinker, you might also like to ask him a few questions. And that is something private. That's in something private with your prayers for that which is spiritual. You might gather together, continue to do the things you do. Life is only a moment, a spark in the infinite, and we're gone. Power is meaningless when you touch the ultimate freedom, spirituality, and you are boundless. And at the same time, honor others. The Pope mentioned yesterday that he prepared a discourse 2 weeks ago when he's talking about peace, because that is his mission, talking about peacefulness in his trip through Africa. And that was not an answer to the President of the United States, Donald Trump, when he said the Pope is weak and that he doesn't know what politics. I'm very happy to have seen the Joe Rogan communicated to the president, trusted that something good could be done, giving the example that he has a good connection to do something good right now, and that he believes in a higher authority that would listen to his inner authority to pass this information to people that are being informed from all areas. The work of Kennedy is fabulous. You should, whatever political party. So compassion can be a joke when you don't want to get up again and you don't know what's going to happen. All your work, if nothing has happened in these years, why would something happen tomorrow? So I would invoke the power next week. Precisely will be the word for the transition between months. You can invoke the power of death for change. You can invoke the power of change. Precisely. You can invoke the power of free speech and collaboration and respect. You can invoke any power that you have built up to do this coming week. What is power for you? To channel it and invoke that power if it's necessarily for the rest of humanity. There are limits to everything. There's limits to eternal loops. You gotta push it somewhere. So it spirals, gets out of that continuous. It'd be nice to see the president of China invited for the Independence Day, United States, and stand there with the King of England and Trump and just enjoy a good time with the power of being leaders of the world. Perhaps with Putin as well, or his double. Curse. Just prepare for a powerful times. Was in abundance and generosity and mercy and the ability of your own people to do good because of you, for that power that you invoke. So I still believe that spirituality has nothing to do on this earth unless we practice through the material. Then we will cast away ourselves against society, if not. So many people don't know what this world is about just because their society is so the same. And then you have rebels and addicts, people who are between worlds, belonging to none. So you can give them the ayahuasca, you can give them all the healing in the world, from the wars to recover. But to what world are they going to return? When you can look at the people, you can always look at how people are. People can see themselves and other people. Our societies need to be in that stage of enlightening, high frequency, celebrating and dancing and communing with one another, sharing all the abundance this world has to offer beyond madness. Through a genius, going beyond yourself to know what is there. With the energy of a child and a teenager. Did you see now people that have never danced, that never known what it is to disappear in the dance floor with friends and strangers? The elite is not investing on musicians like before and concerts because the channels don't exist for them. They talk about tech titans, technologies, what they're after, and war. People's critic in internet as well. So one thing is to have compassion, and another is to ignite people to consume what you think is going to sell more. But look how technologies is being engineered. And look how artificial intelligence is being engineered as well. With people that have no compassion. And this is your boss, all right? You're the spoken person of these people. And you are all rivals, not only in US, also in the world. So we have a factory of virus and wars because of greed. With this little mind, only this little mind of a mosquito can just squash it like that. It's gone. These people are not as big and titanic as they seem to be. They're people like you and I. They're poor mortals who have limited time. What do they know about humanity when they are being paid to win and sales market? Make believe is a wow, artificial intelligence, like oh, wow. If we have people measuring where the money of the government is going and where the money of humanity is going, you will have to measure also the character traits they have on common sense. Let's forget compassion for a while. They will think, I want to have the image of goodness. So people like me. Not only people like me, but other leaders will admire me and want to be like me with how I express myself with the people that bring me the information, because they're people informing me. Thanks to the freedom of expression I fought for with people like this and that, and so many people behind, all right, pushing for this. So you have to be proud and fight forward and be cruel against yourself. Because who wants to be fighting and giving your face to this? You will love to know that the love that you have led others to be is the love being given to you. And that's what freedom of expression has created from the times of Jesus. And after him, many. These are this the Muslim world thinks that Christianity got successful because of the martyr of Jesus Christ, the martyrium, the victimization. So they think that what they did in Israel and Gaza against Gaza will create victimization, and they would win by the compassion of the people in the world. Because the Christians are good people that have compassion and the world. So you see the level of premeditation to this is the image of Jesus. This is what other cultures, religions think about when they look from the outside. They don't understand the Jesus-like consciousness. They don't understand why our woman walks so beautiful and safe, and our men are such a beautiful composers towards women in their romance, in their ability to celebrate one another, and the freedom that have been shared throughout so many centuries, with also judgment, not just freedom. There's been also breakthroughs of judgment. So you love your friends who tell you the truth. You just always be nice and compassionate. They can tell you the truth and be compassionate at the same time. At work, they're so nice to me and they tell me, no, you're doing well. Sometimes I think God placed them there, or they place them there, themselves there, so I don't lose my job. Because they were so divine and beautiful, simple. I think I would have lost my job without them. They were like angels. They just do their job, I guess, as any ordinary person would. They're so kind. We all have freedom of expression to talk about one and another. But what would I win in the end if we can all heal? If I instruct it, I give myself first. I judge myself first, so no one is judged. I take it all for me, so it's clear away. That's it's very easy. You have people that will risk their jobs if they take it on them for another. It's very easy to criticize others. It's very easy to be rightful. So I don't know if in India they have the translation of being compassionate because as a culture, it's very difficult to forgive. One thing is that Shiva can only have them, or a Buddha. And yourself. You whom takes from everyone and hides. Have mercy. Enjoy life.